Hello friends, and welcome to Intense Thought. In this video I'm going to show you an update from a video that I made a while back that was about the harmonics of the S&P 500. And that harmonic is from the low of the great financial crisis. The low on the SPX, the cash exchange, was 666.79, which you can see over here on the far right hand corner of the screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw lines that are similar in structure, and I'm also going to show you a technique with the Gann fan to verify and to make sure that I am doing the right thing. You'll see, using my standard 1/8 example, there is no point in this process where the price ever comes back to the 1/8, confirming, at least for me, that the maximum impulse of the price from the current date that I am speaking, which is August 9th, 2024, the whole way back until the 6th of March, 2009, when the low was, has all been governed by a growth ratio on this first day's candle. And I'm sure that you could go even lower to an hour or a minute and derive also very useful information. But for simplicity's sake, we're going to stick with the daily candle. So, what did I do? Well, what I did was I took a calculator and I took the highs and the lows, obviously starting with the reference point of 666.79. I took the high price, which up in this area you'll see is 695.27, and I took the low price, which is 672.88. And so if I go 672.88, make sure that was the right price, 672.88 divided by 666.79, I get 1.00913. Now I did the same thing for the high. Now let's take a look at this harmonic on the S&P of 666. What happened here? Well, on a daily chart, we can see that the next time it got to 666, now that will be the red line, I have them marked. They'll get more labels as we go up. But 666 is the default red line. The blue line, you will see, is the low range growth factor, and the green line is the high range growth factor. Now, what is the growth factor? Well, the growth factor is a concept using the Fibonacci spiral. We know this growth factor is 1.618, and we know that the structure of the Fibonacci looks like this as it's spiraling out, getting bigger, 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 bigger. Well, we're doing the same thing. We're applying the same logic, not just from the pretty pictures that are here, but to the chart. And so when I see this, I'm going to actually switch to the monthly chart for a moment, or not monthly, the weekly chart, so we can get much more data on here. You can get a bigger visual more quickly. This here is the low at the bottom, 666.79. Our first 666, look where it goes. Price rises to this, which could be considered a gravity point because it is a harmonic multiple of itself. This is 666, and here's your 666. This point, and here are the growth factors. The blue is the low and the green is the high. You'll notice that you are getting tremendous support and resistance at these prices. And actually the takeoff into the next level occurs at the low blue harmonic right here. And that is a tremendous buying sign. But let's look at this some more. Since this is the whole way back in 2012, I'm just using it for back testing and reference. So the next 666, it goes to there and it becomes just like it was here. This is our middle or our consolidation pattern. Here's our consolidation pattern with 666 again. And once again, we get the takeoff here from the pullback at the low end of the harmonic. Now, we get a second one that breaks below here, and I'm willing to bet that if you had used a mid-range bar, or if I had used a mid-range bar or a closing bar, that we would probably catch other significant points in the stock right here. So, we then continue to trend until we find the next 666, and this becomes 2017 to 2020. And right here, what we see is this becomes our new consolidation pattern, albeit with increasing volatility. As you can see here, this was the crash with COVID. And what happened with the COVID crash? Well, it started from S&P 666, it failed to get to the next low growth factor, a bearish sign, and it fell significantly below. There is also, and I'm not sure if you can see this quite as well, but from a structural standpoint, if this is the middle, and this is the middle, we're actually having, and I imagine I may go back at some point in time and try the other values, because I'm guessing that a gravity point was right around here, which maybe is a closing bar, etc. And that gave us an equal range on both sides of this, which we could measure from top to bottom. But nevertheless, you can see that the low point, the low growth factor, ended up being our new center line, where it's being respected. And we're getting this pullback again from the low growth part of the harmonic, where it starts to take off and go up, and where we're breaking out of the trend. Back to the next 666, where we have, once again, a consolidation range. We break above that. This is the market being pushed by the U.S. Federal Reserve, injecting all kinds of cash into the system and inflating prices. And we rise again to the top here at 666. Our pullback goes down here to a new consolidation range, which we've been to before at 4,000, which is a 666 harmonic. We can see that previous high growth ranges were respected. We can see that our next takeoff, once again, is the low growth range of the 666 harmonic, and our peak had been the high growth range of the 666 harmonic. Do you see why I'm showing you this? Because this is very clearly a powerful set of information. And I may go back in a future video and do that. Now, even the low growth factor, you can see here, we have this separation, almost like the gap here. The original 666, we had to break above it. Here's our massive impulse candle. Here's our low growth factor, where it's breaking and gapping above, knowing this is resistance, or support in this case, resistance and then support. And then we come up to 666. Again, we're in the top of the high and the top and the bottom, high and low range, and we can see we have consolidation in between there, and we are now fighting. I'm going to go down to the daily view on the chart. Look at how this plays out on the daily view, and it's even more impressive on the hourly view. But when you look at it in detail, let's go to 4 hours. Take the best of both worlds here. You can see 666 right here. Peak. Now this is recent. We're back into May of 24. Here's our peaks. Here's our support. Here's where we're pulling back at the harmonic. Here's again, we're supporting this and gapping over. This is incredible. When we came down, we gapped below the low growth factor we gap below that and below the high growth factor, and then we try to consolidate and stay in the range where we fail, and we come back down again. Once again, we hold the base level, which is 666, and now, as of the current time and the current day, we are trying to hold above it. So this is a very useful concept here, and if you combine this knowledge with the previous fractal, it gives ideas for trading, that when you see these interactions with this very clearly respected harmonic, then you have trading indications and you have an idea where the market may be turning to. I may at some point, as I said, go back and look at this for the close and other components of that original candle, but you can see just how valuable this has been. So I hope this has been insightful to you. The knowledge of the things in the market, they extend beyond just financial topics. And so likewise, if you go out into other areas, I mentioned in one of the past videos that the way I was able to derive the law of vibration was from dance. And so I'm a dance instructor in part, and the patterns and variations that you can do, they actually get taken down to a geometric level. And that geometry the goal in dance is to do whatever you have not done. And so what actually led me to what you see in the more frequent videos, the law of vibration updates, was the variations that occurred at breakpoints. In this case, what I'm referencing is in dance, and I may show that on the channel at some point in time in the future. But at the moment, you can see these harmonics become breakpoints for the price, and it trends to them, and then it finds resistance, and then it finally breaks above them with an impulse. And so by taking things from the outside world, you can put it all into the stock market, and you can take things from the stock market and put it into the outside world, projecting cycles of war and peace, projecting presidential cycles, projecting all kinds of things using the concepts that we are talking about here for forecasting future price. So once again, hope this is insightful and you're enjoying it. If you are, please like and subscribe, and I wish you the best in your trading and the best to you as you seek knowledge.